Hello, good morning, and welcome to this edition of Wake and Bake News. And I'm your host, Shampoo VTA, Kelly Davis. And how are you on this Wednesday, the 27th of July 2016? My seeds are in the way. So, I have something to show you. I got some more of this pineapple. Much better than my buds. Look, there's actually buds on there. Instead of whatever fluffy, non-existent things I had. Alright. So the other thing I want to show you is this. This right here contains 6 seeds of purple Buddha and triple XOG that I got from Canada. And this is how they packaged it, right? They put it in this little thing, cute, and the little seeds are stuck down inside there. And they used Q-tips to close up all the little ends. Very, very ingenious. So small, it could be just fit inside a CD or something like this, right? Okay? Common practice when purchasing seeds from Canada. They hide it with stickers or a CD pack or something like that. It's not that hard to do. So this is from Canada. You can go to their websites. There's like BC Bud. There's Crop King. You can order. They send it to anywhere in the world. No problem. They'll use American mail. They'll use British mail. They'll use Chinese mail. Whatever is necessary to use. And the reason I wanted to show you that is because I got a story about the Postal Service and mailing marijuana through the Postal Service. My grandmother was a manager for the Postal Service in Santa Ana, so I got to see behind the scenes. And I can tell you, she lived on coffee, basically. She was up all night. It was a very stressful job for her. She was just, it was very stressful. She smoked cigarettes like crazy. I really admired her, but you could tell that she was constantly dealing with stress. She was very thin, you know. Anyway, I had been inside the Postal Service many times in Santa Ana as a child in the 70s. And I remember particularly one Christmas that I talk about where I saw a huge pile of packages that was almost a story and a half high. And like a huge pyramid. It's like something you'd look at in a movie. Like I was a child and I remember looking at this pile and there was a hole in the ceiling with packages falling out. Like they were being dropped by angels from heaven. I don't know where they were coming from. And I said, wow, Grandma, what are all those packages? And she's all, oh, that's Christmas. Those all have to be delivered. It's huge, you know, this year. And that was the 70s. Okay. So this is a story about delivering illicit things through the mail, particularly marijuana, but there's lots of illicit things that get delivered through the mail. Knives, switchblade knives, butterfly knives. Your state bans butterfly knives, but see if you can't buy one online. I bet you can. Your state bans nunchucks. I bet you can buy them. Fireworks have been sent through the mail. Let's see what else. Bongs. This is my best example, and I talk about this during the story. At one time, you see, this is how stupid prohibition is. At one time, American glassblowers blew bongs here in California, in Washington, and Colorado, and it was a business that was American. But then, you see, these geniuses in the Drug Task Force decided to go after the bong shops and swooped up, you know, Chong, right, Cheech and Chong, right, Chong, in this bus because he was selling bongs online, right? And now you can buy Cheech and Chong bongs. But he had to spend like 2 years in prison because of that. A guy who is in movies. That's how ridiculous it is. This is, the cops thought they made such a big bust. Here's what they did. They destroyed the American market for the most part. American glass is very expensive to purchase. You know, to get original American glass blown here in this country, That's really high-end artwork. That's expensive, even for small pipes. But China came right in and filled in the gap. And they send millions of bongs across the world, including all of these illegal states where you're not supposed to sell bongs, but they're supposed to be water pipes, okay? And now if you go into most head shops, they're not filled with American glass anymore. They're filled with Chinese bongs. Because, you know, this prohibition thing is just so fucking smart. And the people that are for it are just a bunch of fucking geniuses. And they know how to completely destroy American markets and allow our competitors to come in. So now we get, if you can go to DHgate and you can buy a very nice bong, very fucking cheap. Because they're made in China. And they send them over here under the guise of names like lamp, you know, fixture. Yeah. Do you know you can order one of these bongs? It will come right to your house and no one will stop. Even if you're not a pot smoker, give it a try. See if you can go to DHgate and order something that's illegal in your state, and I'll bet you it will arrive. Unless the seller themselves refuses to sell it to you because you live in an illegal state, it will arrive. Guaranteed. All right, so, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing it, but I'm saying that you'd be surprised. They even give warranties and shit on the glass. It's amazing. And their glass is, mwah, you know, it's getting better. It's like the electric guitars. Electric guitars used to be made in the United States. Now most of them are made in Asia, and they're fucking badass. Fenders, all these really super nice guitars, Asia. Nobody made guitars illegal. But, you know, hey, we got to help those Asian markets fucking kick our ass with stuff like prohibition, with having the police fucking decide what our fucking international fucking trade agreement should be and shit like that. Or the post office be in charge of busting everybody for sending weed. This is the genius of prohibition. You know, seriously. These people are, why in the fuck are you even giving these morons your money? Prohibitionists are fucking Neanderthal imbeciles. Useless trash. They have good intentions, but they are too stupid to live. Seriously, they are too fucking stupid to live. All right, so let's take a look at this very interesting story about the post office and sending marijuana in the mail. And have I received marijuana? Yes, I tell a story that I've told before. Yes, because I didn't believe it was true either, and a friend of mine decided to make it into a joke. And I was like, it was like having the blinds taken off your eyes. It's like being taken out of Plato's cave. They're lying to you. There isn't any possible way that they could stop this. So this is like, you know, Chinese handcuffs. Oh, this program is such a piece of shit. Oh, this program is such a piece of shit. Can you get away with mailing cannabis through the USPS? Yes. I'll tell you right now. Not that I do it, but I know a little bit about the mail. My grandmother used to be a manager at the Santa Ana post office back in the 70s. And one Christmas, I saw a pile of mail that was a story and a half high. It was not mail, it was packages, presents. And that was one post office in Santa Ana. It was like something out of a movie. It was a huge pile, like a pyramid in Egypt. It was so big, at least seeing it as a child in the 70s. There is no way that they can go through all these parcels and mail them off in a timely way. It'd be like stopping your pizza delivery guy and having him search every pizza he's delivering. There's no fucking way. Hear ye, July 26, 2016 is the 241st anniversary of the most venerable of U.S. institutions, the United States Postal Service. You'll no doubt recognize agency members by those timeless navy blue shorts and the eagle logo on the side of their trucks. The USPS has been making deliveries for nearly 2.5 centuries. Yet, there's a lot about this organization that people don't know. Namely, what is the risk of mailing or shipping cannabis through the U.S. Postal Service? Unsurprisingly, postal inspectors play a key role in helping wage the nation's war on illegal drugs. Well, boy, that really explains why it's failing. Their work to identify and prosecute major drug mailers, major, notice the word major, and intercept illegal drug proceeds that traffickers attempt to send through the mail is well known. But we know what you're thinking. How many of those billions of packages being mailed each year contain cannabis? A lot. Are people getting away with mailing cannabis? Yes. Is it worth risking the consequences? Yeah, if it's small time. Not a problem, especially if you're selling seeds from Canada. Hello. Hello, America. You're so dumb. You can also mail fireworks. And you can mail nunchucks. And you can mail switchblade knives and all kinds of knives, even knives that are probably banned in your state, unless the seller refuses to sell it to you because you live in that state. Hello. Welcome to reality. This is why prohibitions are stupid. Stupid. Big waste of time. An existing problem. Ever since the closure of the infamous Silk Road and the media furor surrounding it, people are increasingly aware of the existence and the nefarious proclivities and particular groups of particular groups within the darknet. For most Americans, illegal substances are no more than a simple click away, thanks to the internet access and darknet markets. Still, these hidden online drug dealers are not privy to some secrets underground delivery methods used mere mortals are unaware. Okay, what the hell was that sentence supposed to mean? Online drug dealers are not privy to some secrets. Underground delivery methods, mere mortals, us mere mortals are unaware of. They simply use the Postal Service. Yeah, duh. Duh. I had a friend of my husband, send us weed from Humboldt. And I said, don't send it through the mail. Don't send it. He goes, what the fuck are you talking about? You can send anything through the mail. And I'm like, no, you can't. You can't. He fucking drew pictures of people smoking pot leaves. He wrote on the envelope, there is marijuana in giant fucking letters to make fun of me. This came to my house. I opened the fucking little, yellow envelope that has a little bubble wrap stuff inside. Boom, there was a big bud. A big fucking dried out bud from Humboldt. It took like 2 days to get here. I was shocked. He goes, yeah, you can send stuff through the mail. You gotta be kidding. There's millions of packages. How could they possibly be searching all of them? If they're selling you that's ridiculous. It's like what they're selling, the TSA selling at the airport. Bullshit. Some more bullshit lies about how they got control when they don't. It's impossible. Ridiculous. According to former Attorney General Eric Holder, the problem is endemic. The Postal Service, the mails are being used to facilitate drug dealing. Duh. It is shocking. Is it shocking, really, that there's gambling in here? What? Nah, I doubt very much you're really that shocked. It is shocking to see the amount of drugs that get pumped into communities all around the country through our mail system, and we have to deal with that. You're not dealing with it, sweetheart. You can't deal with it. Are you going to search every raindrop in the sky? Every fish in the sea? When are you people going to figure out that you've bitten off way more than you can chew, and now it's just a giant clown shoe? I can check every parcel that's ever mailed in the world. No, you can't. And I'm going to laugh at you for even saying that. Leafly contacted the Postal Service in the hopes of getting more information on their policies regarding illicit substances, in particular cannabis being transported in the mail. The USPS promptly responded, while also providing some useful data. Yeah, basically probably a typed out response they give to just about everybody, slightly altered just for you. The U.S. Postal Inspector Service is committed to eradicating illegal drugs and their proceeds from the U.S. mail. We pursue traffickers of all forms of illegal narcotics, including marijuana, which remains illegal under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, and yawn, and is therefore unmailable. Yawn, yawn, yawn. You gotta be kidding me. Our prohibited narcotics program focuses on the disruption of organized narcotics trafficking operations. In other words, we only pay attention to the big boys. To help protect employees and customers from the violence related to drug trafficking. What in the fuck are you even talking about there? And to inhibit the spread of illegal and unmailable substances into neighborhoods across America. Oh, that's a pretty pat response. It makes you look really stupid, but okay, if that's what you want to do, there it is. Though states can legalize marijuana possession under local law, possession of any reason, for any reason outside limited research technically remains a federal crime. No one seems to care, and that's how much the federal law is worth. This is why you don't hear anything from the DEA. Because who cares? See, I've even almost forgot they were going to even say anything. Everything's moving along so nicely. What do they think? They're going to come in here and shut everybody up with, no, you can't? I'm going to be like, Mr. Irrelevant said, what? I'm sorry, Mr. Irrelevant said, what? Your services are no longer needed. Mandated to safeguard the nation's mail, including the people who move it and the customers who use it. On an average, 1,000 suspects are arrested by postal inspectors. Oh my Lord, 1,000 people! Talk about a drop in the bucket. A blip on the map. You are morons. Your drug war is stupid. You should get your brains examined. What a bunch of imbeciles. Oh my God. I want a job where I just take on something that's impossible. I'm going to hold the entire ocean in my mouth. Yeah. That's our federal government. I'm going to hold the entire ocean in my mouth. Okay. Let's see you do that. Oh, I love laughing at stupidity, and this is some serious governmental, and the more they try to crack down, the funnier it is. The funnier it is, because, okay, like I was about to say before I got cut off, this is a Chinese finger trap. The more you struggle, the more entangled in it you become. But, I mean, keep struggling, dummy. I like watching you struggle because now you're just looking really like a moron. It's unfortunate you're wasting so much of American people's tax money and time with this stupid, I'm gonna bang my head on a concrete wall of prohibition. You know, sorry we can't help you with your intelligence, but it sure is funny watching you make an idiot of yourself trying to chase this monkey. You know who's got the monkey on their back? The fucking federal government. I mean, because you're watching them act in an incredibly stupid way. I mean, they must be addicted to the money because nobody acts this fucking stupid unless there's something in it for them. All right, so in addition to seizing cash obtained through criminal activities, postal inspectors have used federal forfeiture laws to seize houses, vehicles, boats, artwork, and other artwork. Yes, that velvet Jesus painting hanging over your television is in danger from the postal service. Who the fuck are they busting? Boats and artwork. Oh, this article is funny as shit. Okay, so they only bust rich people. All right, got that. And other high value items purchased with drug money. Or even if they weren't purchased with drug money, they could still take it from you. In other words, they're just going to use the mail service to go after rich people, whether you fucking sent cannabis or not. That's what's coming. They want your boat and your artwork. Like, you know, how the Germans would go in and steal all the artwork and shit off the walls of Jewish people. Jesus. Profiteering off war, are we? Okay, I'm so glad that you put all this in an article for all of us to read. How stupid are you exactly? All right. In the anarchy of the legalization movement, some cannabis users dismiss the run-of-the-mill driving delivery system and instead have taken to mailing their products in an effort to assess the scale of the trafficking taking place in the U.S. or USPS. We tried to get our hands on as much relevant data as possible. We were semi-successful in this undertaking, only managing to get information covering the period of 2012 to 2015. Consequently, you'll have to excuse the somewhat empty-looking graph below. It's as patchy as a 13-year-old's facial hair, but it's all we got right now, since we hadn't the time to submit the Freedom of Information request. Marijuana parcels intercepted 2012 700 or 7,600, 2013 9,100, 27,900, still under 10,000, and there's probably millions of parcels being. Come on. It's less than a drop in the bucket. It's like a cell in your fingernail. This is an impossible task. Really? You're going to just like use my money, my tax money, to go after an impossible task because you won't regulate it? That is the height of stupidity. But it's fun watching you be a moron. The earliest available data covers the fiscal year 2012 nationwide. During the period, inspectors found roughly 42,000 pounds of marijuana packages in about 7,600 parcels. That sounds like a lot, but it's nothing. Remember, marijuana only takes about 4 to 6 months to grow. It's really easy to replace those pounds. The following year, postal inspectors, in cooperation with local and national law enforcement agencies, secured 2,622 arrests, a drop in the bucket or less than a drop in the bucket, and indictments for mailing controlled substances, up from 2,299 arrests and indictments the preceding year. Crippling. That is just like so crippled. That's only like a little over 400 more arrests. And you know that obviously mailings have increased. The more mailings increase, the more arrests they get, and yet it's only going to be a reflection of a tiny little atom in your fingernail. The entire body of this market, we don't even see because the federal government won't fucking regulate it because they're morons. Morons and profiteer. They're profiteering off war. Marijuana, a war, they fucking want to keep going so they can keep profiteering. Marijuana Marijuana proved to be comprehensively the most common drug intercepted by inspectors. Cannabis intercepts comprise 68% of 13,389 drug-related seizures in 2013, up from 67% of 11,322 seizures the year before. Oh, yawn, yawn. 2013 ended on a high. Yawn, you gotta be kidding. With the Postal Inspector Service intercepting almost 20% more parcels and making 14% more arrests and indictments for mailing controlled substances than in the preceding year, while probably at least 90% of the market went through the mail unscathed. They just pick off a little bit and keep that for themselves, their boats and their artwork. Get it? Do you see what's going on here? They have no intention whatsoever of ending this. This is just a way for them to peel some cash off for themselves. Hello, America. You're stupid. I'm sorry. I can't help stupid people. There's nothing you can do about stupid. The trend seems to have been bucked, however, as the level of marijuana detected in the postal system declined in 2014. This just happened to coincide with the country's first licensed recreational marijuana stores opening in Washington and Colorado. The number of marijuana parcels seized by inspectors fell more than 12% in 2014. Well, they also got smarter. I know that a lot of the, like for instance, if there's a 24-hour delivery in California, they don't use a parcel service. They have a private delivery service that delivers within 24 hours anywhere in California. So there's actually a competing system now with the mail. So it isn't just the USPS. It's also, Brown. It's also all these other delivery systems, and they're being used, and they're not going to turn down money. They're not stupid. They're going to just peel a little off the top, make all you dumbass fucking prohibitionist rube morons think, oh, we're doing a good job there, Brownie. Like the Katrina, you're doing a good job, Brownie. And then they're just going to go, and we take the money from all the proceeds from these illegal drug sales that are passing through our mail system, because we're not going to try real hard to stop it, are we? Because we profiteer both sides, see? We bust people, we take their art, their boats and everything, but then we let the majority of the market go through and they get a clear sale and we get money from that too. They got you coming and going, prohibitionists. They are playing you because you and your stupid prohibition is idiotic. And that goes for the entire Republican Party. That's exactly what they want to perpetuate, is this game. Playing the suckers. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're taking your tax money and playing you. Playing you. Playing you like an old fiddle. Why are there so many people willing to take the chance on something like mailing cannabis? If it's really such a bad thing, could there really be possible upsides to sending cannabis in the mail? Ever since marijuana laws have progressed in states like Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska, the threat that more cannabis might flood areas where it's not legal has been a common concern for those opposed to legalization. And this is how you play them. Because they're dummies. They have a fear. They will do anything to alleviate this fear, and here comes the federal government to say, well, get ready to pay. Get ready to pay me. And then I'm going to tell you a story about how I busted all these people and took their artwork and their boats, and this will make you feel like I did something when in fact I haven't hardly done dick shit. They get to dance away with your money in their pocket and their lies in your ears. Because if you think any of these guys was ever serious about fighting the war on drugs, you are ding-dong fucking dipshit bat wrong. They wanted to play you for your money. They wanted to play poor communities. This is war profiteering. They don't give a shit who wins, dummy. They like the war because it creates opportunity for them. Even though legal cannabis seems to be accomplishing something that the drug war never could, a huge proportion of it still comes from Mexico. It's grown, packaged, and shipped from south of the border, which has created many jobs. However, As more states change their laws, some of those jobs have moved to places like Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and California, thus sending Mexico cartels' imports tumbling. The latest data shows that while agents hit a seizure pinnacle in 2009, getting their hands on around 4 million pounds of cannabis, they only confiscated 1.5 million pounds this last year. Mail ordering marijuana would be another way for consumers to expand a budding industry that helps farmers and keep decent jobs in America. Yeah, but the government, you know, what can you do, man? You got a government that is just fucking idiot. It's the emperor wears no clothes. Jack Carrere called it dead right. These are morons that think they're wearing a beautiful suit made of like gold when in fact they're standing there with their fucking shriveled red balls hanging out. And everyone can see it except them. And finally, let's face it, the UPS could do with extra traffic. The United States Postal Service has been in financial trouble for better part of a decade. Well, I mean, after all, why do you think so many of these parcels are passing through and they are not picking up all of them, but a very small percentage? Well, can you blame them, prohibitionist, for playing you? After all, you're so easy to play with. You're such a sucker. They could get you coming and going. We can allow the traffic to pass through and help the Postal Service while picking off a few rich assholes and taking their artwork and their boats, probably Republicans. But you are too fucking stupid to see that. We enjoy making fun of you, prohibitionist. We enjoy it. You are a constant comical relief for us. A clown in a clown's outfit. Not surprisingly, as a result, the Postal Service has managed to lose a lot of money. USPS has accumulated $47 billion in operating losses since 1971. It's no surprise that the agency is consistently talking about being on the verge of collapse, which would sadly result in the loss of thousands of jobs in the U.S. Ultimately, can beggars be choosers? This may not prove to be a case of invention being the mother of necessity, but a paraphrase, Gertrude Stein, traffic is traffic is traffic. Mailing cannabis or other drugs with different carriers. Oh, I was just talking about that. Oh yeah, I've had marijuana delivered right to my door. It's wonderful. I've woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning to a beautiful little white box right outside my door that someone came in a lovely little white van and delivered. It was fantastic. So if you're living in a legal state and you're a prohibitionist moron, take a look at some of the trucks and delivery vehicles that are in your neighborhood and wonder, what are they delivering? And there's nothing you can do about it because it's not your fucking business. Why don't you put the curtains back, sit down on the couch and watch a TV, or get on the computer and stop looking at the fucking neighbor's house, you fucking creep. That's what your fucking problem is, nibby nose. In terms of alternative carriers within the U.S., there are a number of private carriers. The big three outside of the USPS are FedEx and UPS. And DHL. A question for the discerning cannabis shipper might be, which service should I choose? And are any of these a better, safer option than USPS? Surely these private companies offer the paying customers greater protections against government interference and warrantless searches. Oh yes, they do. As a matter of fact, it's lovely. There's a dispensary, there's a medical marijuana website called Goddess Delivers, and they do exclusively through a private carrier. And it's fabulous, so professional, so professional. While the rest of you live in the dark ages of prohibition. Whatever, you're dumb. Bye. You're dumb. Can't help dumb people. Surely these private companies offer the paying customer greater protections against government interference. Yeah, they don't put it in your mailbox on the street. They put it on your fucking doorstep or make sure it's in your hand. The answer is the resounding no. Really? FedEx, USPS, and DHL all specify in their terms of service that they reserve the right to open and inspect any package in their own discretion, of their own discretion. Oh, in other words, they don't. In contrast to these policies, the U.S. Postal Service is the preferred carrier for many drug shippers because it offers more stringent Fourth Amendment protections. Postal inspectors must acquire a search warrant based on probable cause before inspecting mail and parcels, according to the USPS. Oh, well, that's a major, that shows they can't do this at all. That's exactly right. Then is it because Goddess Delivers uses it within the state that it's perfectly legal? Because I've had $500 worth of weed, delivered to my house and left on my front porch, which is no big deal. If you have $1,000 computer or phone sent to your house and left on your porch, same idea. First-class letters and parcels are protected against search and seizure under the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and as such cannot be opened without a search warrant, even if they do have drawings of there's marijuana in here. That's funny. What would actually happen if the DEA rescheduled cannabis? When you drop your package off at the FedEx or UPS store to be mailed, you're putting the property into the possession of a third party, and the Supreme Court has ruled that giving your package to a third party removes any reasonable expectation of privacy. To compound this, the 2014, the U.S. Department of Justice indicted FedEx with conspiracy to distribute controlled substances over its alleged role in transporting illegal prescription drugs. While this isn't marijuana, it does strongly indicate that FedEx and other private carriers will be scrutinizing packages much more closely for an illegal substance. So if you're in a legal state, it's probably fine. This is not necessarily the case with the USPS because the government's employees, they are the federal government and therefore require a warrant to access your package. However, although postal inspectors do have to obtain a warrant to search a suspicious package, suspicion alone is enough to get parcels signed out and tracked. USPS actively encourages workers and the public to get involved in identification of packages containing drugs by offering $50,000 to, this is like the school district. I used to laugh. The school district had signs all over the high school I worked at that said, hey, narc out somebody with drugs and we'll give you $50. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You're going to give me $50 for narking out the guy that has $1,000 of drugs on him? I'd like to not die for $50. How about that? Are you a moron? $50,000 is nothing. Okay, the lottery winnings aren't even $50,000 and more. I don't even think they ever were. You're going to offer somebody $50,000 to narc out their neighbor so they can get fucking shot in the head by some drug dealer so you can scamper off and feel good. This is what I'm talking about. They are so fucking stupid. Here, kids, narc out one kid, some gang member here at your school for $50 and get your head pounded in. Because you blew a $1,500 deal or something. What fucking stupid people. Stupid. Yes, $50,000 is just so much money today. Please go away. When it comes right down to it, as an option for illegal transportation of cannabis via mail, USPS is relatively your safest bet. And we mean relatively. Remember, the act is an illegal one and without a doubt carries a significant level of risk. It always did. Risk and penalties. Crunching the numbers, you can't help but realize the stark reality facing the Postal Service in terms of the enormous task they have in preventing the trafficking of illicit substances. Enormous is an understatement. But simply the sheer volume of packages, like stars in the sky, that the carrier handles every day offers the chance that contraband packages will get delivered unchecked. I mean, They can put their collective shoulders to the wheel, but no matter how hard they try, it is virtually impossible for the USPS to catch all wrongdoers, or even most of them, frankly, or even a percentage. They peel off a percentage to make themselves look good because they know they can't. It's like what the police do in New York. Go in and just fucking search people that are smoking weed and arrest them because that pumps up our numbers and makes us look good because we can't actually do the job we're hired to do. We just make these pretend things into bad things, and we bust that, and then you think we're doing a good job. Shipping drugs to the mail is probably safer than it should be. The USPS, as well as partnering law enforcement agencies, simply don't have the resources to try to figure out where the drugs are coming from and who's inspecting them. So doesn't that make you wonder whose boats and artwork they're taking? A rich guy's. You got to be worth it to go after. However, it would be unfair to fault the USPS in the matter. They are just not equipped to scan and investigate each package. Not only are packages given extra protection, as we've outlined, but the agency has also been losing money pretty much every year for the last decade due to the decrease in mail volume. The organization is increasingly under-resourced and facing pressure to downsize being exerted by the government. In 2016, despite turning a profit in a financial quarter for the first time in 5 years, President Obama still opposes the agency's slash 1,200 employees in his fiscal 2017 budget. The USPS is definitely getting a new line of business. It's just not the business they want. Well, at least nobody's going postal. I remember a time when people went postal. Remember that term, going postal? I bet you don't, because it was so many shootings ago. I mean, how can anyone remember? While acknowledging the Sisyphean uphill struggle the USPS faces, it's worth reminding any would-be Pueblo Escobar that misusing the Postal Service in this way remains, at best, a game of Russian roulette. The United States Postal Service are a government agency and therefore subject to federal law. As the USPS is subject to federal guidelines, any illegal use of their services is a felony. Plus, marijuana is still considered to be a Schedule I drug. That means anything under 50 grams can potentially get you up to 5 years in a federal penitentiary, and the penalties only increase as the amount grows. This totally reminds me of, I'll beat you with a belt no matter what, if it's 5 grams or 500 grams. Okay, so you're telling me I'm going to get beat with a belt no matter what I do? I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm going to get beat with a belt anyway, so who cares? People are so stupid. Why do they think these kind of threats work? You have to have reasonable threats for people to take you seriously. Once you start threatening them with, I'll destroy your life and put you in a penitentiary, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter how much I have, so why should I care? You don't have a reasonable punishment, so I don't have a reasonable response to it. It's already escalated. You're going to beat my ass for anything I do, Dad. So what the fuck does it matter what I do? Also, in case you're thinking of doing anybody any favors, that even if you didn't not mail the package and are only the recipient, your knowledge and participation in the planning of the shipping makes you just as guilty as the person who mailed the package. Once a package is seized, a person is liable to face prosecution in both the state in which it was mailed as well as the state in which it was delivered. It's totally at the discretion of the prosecutors. Oh my God, all you people mailing all those knives and stuff from China, beware. Or all those bongs from China, beware. You are morons! You know that, right? Hundreds of thousands of bongs are being mailed from China under the guise of lamps, and they are also banned in these states. People are so stupid. Nunchucks. In California, you can't own nunchucks. I can buy nunchucks online. They will send them to me. It's illegal to own them, but I could do it. And it could be through the USPS. I mean, duh. This whole thing is government duh at its finest. Okay. Look, the Postal Service isn't willing, nor does it want to be your drug mule. The United States Postal Service is one of the oldest institutions in the nation. It deserves to be treated with great respect. For those burgeoning low-level drug dealers out there, you're not only running the risk of federal prosecution, you're just disrespecting the genuine pillars of U.S. democracy. Oh, that's got to be a tongue-in-cheek fucking statement right there. That's got to be a fucking joke right there. That's funny. Oh, that is funny as hell. No, look, the drug war is a losing war. Prohibition is a losing concept. And in order for it to work, the authorities have to basically turn everyone into a cop, from your school teacher to your neighbor to your postal delivery service. Everybody's a narc. Everybody's a cop. That's Nazi Germany. That is literally fucking communism. That is living under an authoritarian rule where the Hitler youth are going to narc you out because you don't dare to say no. You see what I'm saying? When they got to lock down on shit like this, they're fucked themselves. You fuck our democracy. OBKB. So the next one I'm going to go into is a story about I guess there's some kind of like a pharmacy chain or something in Florida that's supposed to be big. I don't know. They think they're big, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they're called Pubex in Florida, and they just contributed a whole bunch of money to try to defeat medical marijuana in Florida. And I'll read the story to you, and it's pretty obvious why they're doing this. It's because it cuts into their bottom line. Anybody that is against regulation right now of marijuana, it's because it's cutting into their bottom line. Either somehow they profiteer off of people who are sick, people who are poor, people who are black, people who are minorities, people who are old, people who, because they want them to get on oxycodone and not fucking on marijuana, right? So there are just a huge group of people now that you are going to see come out of the shadows and just like monsters, defend prohibition. They don't have a choice. We've beaten back everybody they used, teachers and medical professionals and stuff like that. We've beaten back everybody they used to use to profiteer off this, to send out to make it look all shiny and glossy and wonderful. We have beat the shit out of those people. So now they have to personally come out and defend this, and now you see the monsters. Dianne Feinstein. That's another one. I think I read something that said she signed an agreement. I'm going to put some keef on top of this. See? We got a little in there. Anyway, she signed some kind of an agreement promising that she would defend prohibition. Now, I didn't really read that much about it, but I'm going to assume that's because she's in, on the committee for, what is it? The military defense, all this stuff. She's all into this whole, wiretapping and Americans shouldn't have rights and stuff. And even gun enthusiasts hate her guts because, like I said, she's for, having regulations on guns. My problem is when she's for it, I get the feeling it's so we can't defend ourselves and she can take over, which is actually a Republican thing to say. But I do get the feeling that she's not just, I'm a little sketchy about someone that wants to take everyone's rights away. You know what I mean? Marijuana smokers, gun owners, and everybody else on earth. And you in your home watching TV. She wants to be able to peer in on you to make sure you're not planning terrorism. I don't like this person. I bet she doesn't own a cat. I bet she's not a cat person. She just seems like one of those cold, fucking bitchy people. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why she's on this committee or whatever. So a lot of these people are going to have to come out and defend their position. And Barbara Boxer came out, and she's, she's cool. She's a Democrat from California. I think Nancy Pelosi is cool about this. Fucking Dianne Feinstein is being a fucking cunt bitch, and it might be because of the position she's in. She may actually would like to bend, but she's not allowed to by the criminals that are profiteering off the drug war in our federal government. And that's going to be probably the hardest thing to deal with, is getting rid of those fucking assholes. This is like gay marriage, except for this part. Nobody was killing gays or arresting gays and profiteering off of it, or somehow making money off of keeping people from choosing it, or whatever, or becoming or being or whatever it is that they want to be. There's been a lot of, because it's attached to racism, it's so much more ugly with the drug war than with gay marriage. This isn't just Kelly, the white person in Ventura County, wants to get high. Kelly, the white person in Ventura County, can say this without being shot in the head. If I was black, do you think I could do any of this fucking show? Fuck no. You would have seen fucking feds come in here and grab me and throw me to the ground at some point. Anyway, so here's about Pubex. And then I do a compare and contrast to Weed Maps. Let's take a look how many locations Pubex has compared to how many dispensaries and delivery services there are across the country. And then I think you'll begin to understand why Pubex is so upset about legalization. So here's another wonderful example of everybody that is still fighting for prohibition here at the end of the war on drugs is somehow profiteering off of it. Either they're profiting off the sick because they're getting them addicted to oxycodone and making money off of them getting sicker and dying, or they're profiteering because they're stealing their property, or they're profiteering because they're destroying their communities, But basically, here's another example of how the scum come out of the dark places to let us know that they are war profiteers. Wednesday, July 27th. OrlandoWeekly.com. Pubex billionaire donates $800,000 to fight Florida medical marijuana legalization. Pubex is apparently a pharmacy. I wonder what would their interest be in this? Let me guess. They make a lot of money selling fucking oxycodone. Let me guess what it is. That they have deals with pharmaceutical companies because they filthy each other with their disgusting scumminess. A trust run by the president of Pubex, a beloved Florida grocery store chain that carries cigarettes, alcohol, and pharmaceuticals, just donated $800,000 to conservative-led campaign fighting medical marijuana legalization in Florida. See, marijuana will bring all the scum out and show you them in the light of day. That is what's wonderful about this battle. It's the only battle I've seen that literally the slime will come out of their hiding places and you will be able to find them and destroy them. It's awesome. According to the Ledger, Carol Jenkins Barnett, the chairwoman and president of Pubex, used her trust to make this personal and sizable donation to the lobby group Drug Free Florida Committee back on July 14th. She also reported she gave more than $500,000 to Drug Free Florida in 2014. In other words, marijuana free so she can continue to sell her drugs to you. Drugs that are in pills. Get it? Starting to see how this all works? X. Pills that are going to upset your tummy. So you'll have to take some antacid, something they sell in there. Alcohol, so they can make you an alcoholic, so that you can come and buy that. Cigarettes, so you can come and buy that. See, addictive things. They don't want things that might actually make things better. You notice how there's a theme here? In LA, they wanted to use the money, the proceeds from taxes from medical marijuana to help the homeless. And then the organizations that helped the homeless didn't want the money. You know why? Because that might have actually fucking cured the problem. And God knows they couldn't continue to profiteer off of it. Here, they sell you the poison and the cure. I really understand why Pubex would be desperately worried about marijuana. No wonder this person is getting it personally involved. I'm sure it totally threatens their bottom line. Drug-Free Florida helped squash 2014's medical marijuana amendment and is hoping to do the same with Amendment 2, which is on the ballot this November. Carol Jenkins Barnett, who is estimated to be worth $1.8 billion, is the daughter of Pubex founder George Jenkins. The company announced in June that the 97-year-old Barnett would be stepping down from Pubex board of directors because of early onset of Alzheimer's disease, something that marijuana actually fucking helps reverse. Do you see how evil this shit is? Because if you help to cure this person's Alzheimer's, they wouldn't be stepping down. Starting to get the picture here? Yeah. Carl Jenkins Barnett has long supported efforts to protect Florida's families and children and Alzheimer's patients against the perils of drug abuse. At least abusing the drugs that they don't sell in their store. As such, she feels that Amendment 2 would usher in an unprecedented era of legalized marijuana in Florida. Well, her concern is absolutely right. It would, and probably destroy her profiteering fucking piece of shit fucking store. In Florida, as opposed to only helping those who suffer from debilitating illnesses, it is her desire to maintain the health and welfare of Floridians. For this reason, she contributed to Drug-Free Florida, which is dedicated to eradicating the public on the dangerous consequences of blah, 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 the old kind of shit. Who cares? That's like 1980s, nobody cares. So, in other words, another scumbag has come out of the woodwork to fight marijuana legalization because they have to, and they have to let the sun shine on their evil vampiric fucking flesh, okay? So now they have to come out and actually defend themselves, and of course, you see right through it. Obviously, the reason why they're doing this is because it would cut into their profits. So I just thought for fun, we take a look at what Pubex is really afraid of. Here is Pubex in Orlando. Right? Here's their chains. Oh boy, they just got so many stores. Oh boy. I'm so scared. Let's take a look over here. Oh, yippee. Oh boy, look at that. Oh, there's just so many of them. Oh, there's such a big chain. Let's take a look at weed maps. And now you're going to shut the fuck up. Let's take a look at California weed maps, shall we? Let's do a compare and contrast. Yes, if I was Pubex, I'd be fucking scared to fucking death. I would be shitting my pants right now. I'm not kidding. I would be running the fuck away. Because marijuana has got a bigger army than this shit. Let's compare and contrast one more time, shall we? Let's take a look at the entire United States to see what Pubex's influence is. Not so much. Then let's take a look at weed maps. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. Florida doesn't get on this game, they lose out. Pubex wins a little tiny battle, but Florida's gonna lose the war. Because we got the numbers, bitch. See, these are giant, but once you start to zoom down on them, they start to go crazy. They start to go crazy. The closer you get, the crazier it looks. It looks like just big, like dots from far away. But once you start to really zoom in on these areas, you start to really see what the fuck's going on. And it isn't you. Do you have delivery drivers? Let's take a look. Do you have little car symbols? Let's look again at Pubex. Let's look again at Pubic Hair X. Let's take a look at this very popular chain of stores. It seems to be very tiny. Oh, I don't know. What is that, like 10? Now let's take a look at this. Yeah, I think we got you. I think you're fucked. Okay, so this next story has to do with why you stoners can't afford to actually donate to a political campaign and get up off your ass and take responsibility for the shit that you want instead of being babies. You know? So even though I don't like Hillary Clinton, I like her and I don't like her. I don't trust her. No way. I got a political bat yesterday at the dollar store. See it? It's called Nitro, right? I'm calling it Nitro. And I'm really intending this bat for Donald Trump, Republican prohibitionist motherfuckers, but some Democrat prohibitionists can get it in the head, like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This is the metaphorical political bat. See, Hillary Clinton needs to bust the glass ceiling. I'm going to do it with fucking Donald Trump's head. I'm not nice. I'm not ladylike. There's nothing ladylike about me at all. And if you piss me off, I will fight back. That's the way it is. So I have named her Nitro. And she will be swinging for the next 3 months. And when I want to talk about a motherfucker I need to fucking bang in the head with a political bat, she will come out. She will come out. So, if Democrats don't want to be part of that shit show, then they better get in line. Because this is about legalization and regulation, and the talk of prohibition is over. Like you put a bat by your door for motherfuckers, I'm putting a bat by my computer. And I will metaphorically beat the fuck out of you with it this election season. My intent is to cave in Donald Trump's head with it. I think he's going to cave in his own head. I'll never even get in the swing. So many people after that motherfucker, I'll probably, it's like stand in line, You ever seen the fucking Murder on the Orient Express? There's so many fucking people on that train that wanted to kill that motherfucker. They all did it. They fucking drugged the guy, and each one of them took the knife. Your turn. Okay, now you. Spoiler, I just gave away the plot. You haven't seen Murder on the Orient Express. I just told you the plot. Okay. Sorry, that spoiler alert came a little late. All right, so my next one is the average legal user spends about $647 a year on marijuana, unless they're older. Then they spend more. But millennials are more likely to tip, more likely to go to dispensaries than somebody my age. Yeah, I haven't even been to a fucking legal dispensary yet. I feel like a goddamn fucking cave person. I really do. As a stoner, I feel primitive. Because I'm from Prohibition. I knew this feeling was going to happen, but it's extremely unsettling for me because it feels like I have not stepped into the future. I'm Moses standing there watching all the kids run down in the promised land. And God's like, not you, though. Remember that tablet you broke? I'm still really pissed. It does have that feeling of being left behind, but I knew it would come. So it's how... I'm going to get my ass to an actual dispensary to walk in and just look around and be in a dispensary and walk out, even if it's in a fucking, rundown shopping mall somewhere or an industrial complex, even if it's a hole in the wall. How that experience is ever going to play out, I still don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. To be an American and say, you know, I can't go to that kind of store because of where I live is nuts. That's just insane. All right, so this is about how much we spent, and I want you to reflect on it, thinking if you have this money, then you have 20 or 30 bucks that you could, you know, support one side or the other with, because as you read, Pubex is supporting the other side. If you sit there with your dick in your hand, you're gonna end up with nothing but jizz, just like the fucking last fucking 30 years. Now is the time for the stoners to grow the fuck up. You know, time to get out and fucking vote. And if you're not going to vote, then it's because you chose not to vote, not because you were too high or too stupid. Okay, that at least is an excuse I could deal with. But that I wasn't paying attention or oh I forgot to do. That's not going to be one I accept at all. I will be very upset with you if you hurt this cause, because you're hurting the momentum of history now, not just being a lazy fucking college dickhead. So let's take a look at this. Can anybody explain to me why they keep using images like this? Just, it's so old-fashioned. I need a marijuana smoker with glasses, preferably shaped like marijuana leaves. We couldn't find one. The girl with the hat will do. Why in the fuck do they? I mean, it's amazing. There's some kind of weird noise going on my computer I need to kill. An ad is playing somewhere. Okay. HTML hell. Increasingly lax marijuana legislation may be cheered loudest in college dorm rooms, but it's the professor-aged ganja enthusiasts who are the average consumers of the legal stuff. Yeah, like me. Headset Incorporated, a cannabis intelligence firm, reviewed about 40,000 legal marijuana purchases made in Washington state from September 2014 to July 2016. Seattle-based company determined that the average recreational weed consumer is a 37-year-old man who buys traditional marijuana buds. The median spend by the customer was about 647 annually, with an average of 19.5 days between purchases. Yeah, that sounds like about 2 weeks. Though 37 is the average age of the consumer, millennials make up the bulk of such purchases. Just over 50% of the recreational marijuana consumers are age 21 to 34. Headset found older generations are unlikely to stop at a legal dispensary. Fewer than 10% of the purchases reviewed in the report were made by those older than 60. Yeah, some of us older than 60 are stuck in places like, well, I'm 50, yeah. But some of us are stuck in places like Ventura County. And the only place that's going to regulate here in Ventura County, apparently, is Fillmore and Santa Barbara. And, of course, then you got to drive 40 miles to Santa Barbara or whatever. If you're poor, forget about it. Because you're stuck here with scumbags that are trying to kill you or get you addicted to alcohol or opioids. Or they want to take your property because you don't want to get addicted to alcohol or opioids. There are just some real filthy scum in this area. Okay, though 37% are 34, 21 to 34, those that are older than 60 are not going to go to a dispensary. Consumers in their 20s spend a median of about $27 per visit to a dispensary, but made tips more frequently than the other generations. A median of every 16 days compared to every 18.2 days of those in their 30s and 20s days of those in their 40s. The median spent per trip also increased with age, topping out at $64 for those in their 80s. The biggest medium annually spent are members of Generation X, you betcha. Users in their 40s spent $823 in the past year, yeah. And their 50s, $753. I was going to say, I'm sorry, but 600 and something is lowballing it for me, man. I asked my husband. He's not happy with how much I have to pay for marijuana at the fuck all. Part of the reason why the gray market still exists. As you're older, you might have more money to go and make bigger purchases, explained Headset co-founder Cy Scott. Well, or you just go, this is what I want and I have to make this purchase. This is now part of my medical expenses for being an older person. Okay, the millennials might be out and about more. They can drop into marijuana dispensaries more often, but older people might just plan more. The type of marijuana that consumers are looking for doesn't vary much with age. Bud is most popular across the board, followed by pre-rolled joints, vapor pens, and edible products such as brownies, infused marijuana. Vapor pens usually with wax. See, they don't mention wax here, but as a 50-year-old, I absolutely fucking love dabs. Oh my God, especially on my vape pen. That has been, I mean, I have literally fucking like right there. Like I had this eye twitch as soon as I got that delicious, what the hell was it called? Wasn't lamb's bread, wasn't the blue monster. Oh shoot, I don't have one of the containers, but there was this other one that was just the bomb. It was an indica, and it just made my eyes stop twitching. Chem Dog. Chem Dog was just like, that was medicine. That was the first time I ever took a dab and just literally had like a problem I had, boom, go away. My eyes stopped twitching, and ever since I did the Chem Dog, it's gone. You know, and I had it going for weeks. Boom, Chem Dog, gone. I'm not playing about this fucking medicine. It is for real. And when you're in your 50s, you definitely notice, especially like putting on your skin. Like I made some dabs, put it in lotion with also some olive oil that I infused with the leaves and stuff like that. Use that on my skin. My skin is looking so much fucking better. I am looking so much fucking better than I was, you know, before I started doing this in the middle of menopause. I'm telling you, you're in 50s, you notice a difference. It's not just, oh, I'm stressed after work. It gets real then. It gets real. Now I get to hit my pipe. I'm actually in a really super good mood. Everything, I watched Bill Clinton's speech yesterday, which I was just like, there are so many things he's saying I wish he wouldn't say. You know, like how she makes change. Just in my mind, suddenly all I could see is one of those chicks that roller skate up to your car at a restaurant and say, "Can I take your order?" And she's chewing gum. "I got your change." Wait, and she's got the change machine. It's like the word change is just so unfortunate. It happened with Barack Obama, too. I remember The Onion running a story, "Black man offers change," or something like it, asks for change. "Black man asks for change" was their funny headline about Barack Obama when he first started running in '08. And I was like, oh, that is just not an attractive headline, you know. And but it's that word change. It's a problem. I think it's a problem because it seems like we get shortchanged on change. It almost implies that you're getting fucking piddledy shiddledy diddledy out of it. So even to invoke the word change gives you the feeling like you're about to be ripped off, or you're about to be nickeled and dimed, or, you know, all these terms subconsciously start popping up in my head. I could see a lot of speech writing that was going on there that was so old-fashioned and was so not prepared for the internet that's going to pick out everything and make fun of it, unless it is intended to pick it out and make fun of it, just to keep, I don't know, somehow the concept going. Sometimes negative advertising is good too. I don't know. I watched Bill's speech, though, and I was like, oh my God, is he seriously, my husband said it right away, is he seriously going to start out by just talking about himself? Yeah, pretty much he was. Bill, I'm going to love seeing you picking out dishes and drapes for the White House, because I'm not excited to see you off doing some worldly thing that's going to save people, because you kind of don't deserve that. So there needs to be some image of you adorning the Christmas tree or doing something that most of the females will do. Otherwise, you're going to piss me off. Because how come when a guy gets to be first female or first, spouse or whatever you call it, suddenly he gets all kinds of grown-up jobs when women did it before. They had to fucking go garden and shit like that. Read fucking storybooks to kids in school, talk about education and fucking children's health and all this shit. How come your ass ain't out there on the playground fucking exercising with some kids? We'll come to that time, but it's coming, son. And I'm gonna have lots to say on that. How come your ass ain't out there fucking gardening? How come your ass ain't there? There's another couple of things he said. And then I saw the girl again. It's like his entire story about how he met Hillary Clinton. By the time he got to the library with me, I would have fucking pepper sprayed his ass and he would have been arrested. It wouldn't have been, it's so cute that this guy's stalking me. It would have been, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you staring at me? And what the hell makes you think you could touch me? See, that is exactly the difference here in our generations. Is what Bill Clinton's story sounded like stalking to me, frankly. I just wanted to mention that. And then I followed her, and I saw the girl again. Like she's a prize. There was so much old type thinking attached to his entire speech about how he courted his wife that it disturbed me. That it really spelled out to me what the older generation doesn't get about any of this election or any of this time period. They sound like, Bill Clinton sounded like a fucking stalker. If you were a guy in college and did any of that shit, she would have knocked your ass in the fucking dirt with some kind of fucking karate she learned. You would have been like, boom, boom, boom! I said no. Son, Oh, such a strange story. That was such a strange... I sat there going, I swear to God, he wouldn't have been conscious. In that library, he would have walked up on me. I would have... Bam! Don't touch me. And maybe if Hillary Clinton had done that, things could have been a little bit better for her if she hadn't gotten Bill Clinton attached to her. Maybe he wouldn't have been president even. But for that right there at that moment, I swear to God, he sounded like a stalker more than like he was a romantic person in love. I would have been a little concerned about that kind of, I saw the girl again. What'd you call me? I'm the what? She was wearing a skirt and high. Oh, boy. You better not be talking about the fucking clothes I wear, bitch. Seriously. It was only till later I realized she had a brain and she cared about things. I mean, it's literally, his entire speech was that. It was like, I'm the most biggest misogynist on earth, Jesus Christ. I just don't know about the older generation. I don't know if they're going to get it. I'm beginning to think they're not. I think Bill Clinton needs to go garden and shut the fuck up is what I think he needs to do. Finally get to hit that bowl. That was a lot of... Actually, it was only like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of ranting because I went boop, 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 boop. I already recorded all this stuff. And I was like, got my show. Let's go. Sometimes I'll read stories and I'm like, that's my show. And welcome to Wake and Bake News. Okay. So let's smoke some weed here together. So most people buy buds. Or they like edibles. I like edibles. I'm actually doing this thing now where I juiced some lemons and I froze the lemon juice into ice cubes. And then I juiced some marijuana leaves and I froze them into ice cubes. And I added a couple, like 3 a piece or like 3 lemon and 1, whatever, however I want it balanced out for the moment. And then sugar, or I don't use sugar, I use like, what is it called? The fake sugar, stevia. Okay, so like, well, I'm sure it's really sugar. It's probably more dangerous than sugar. Here's an alternative to the dangerous thing that's even more dangerous than the thing that you're trying to be saved from. It's usually the way our government and our farm, the whole food industry and the FDA works. We'll offer you something that turns out to be even more deadly later on. Talcum powder, put some of that on your coochie. And your baby's rump. It's only cancer causing. It's all right. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, I put stevia in it, and I'm making this like and the marijuana is not carboxylated, so it doesn't get you high. It's just for nutrients. Because I had to scrog my plants. They were getting way too bushy. I guess that's the word, scrog. I had to pick out all the fucking little tiny sprouts and little stems and shit because that will draw from the major buds. Think of it like a rose bush. You want the best roses to be growing, not the shitty little fucking underneath that's little teeny tiny and fucked up looking. You want to cut those off so that the plant puts the most energy into the roses that are going to get you the prize. Okay, so same concept with marijuana. So I had to cut all those leaves and shit off, and I made some juice, and I did like some lemonade marijuana juice last night. Tastes fine. Kurt, that was a little weird. He doesn't like stevia too, so he's not a big fan of too much of the marijuana taste in his juices, and he doesn't like stevia, so that could be the reasons he wasn't a big fan of it. Might have been too sour for him too. He likes sugar, so that it's definitely lemonade's a different taste with sugar. So anyway, I did that, and I told the doctor when I went last time to get my script. I'm watching Kurt play a game. What are you playing? Defiance. It's interesting. Anyway, so I told the doctor that I'm trying to actually eat the plant and do stuff like that because I think it's an entire body experience. I think it needs to be more than just like me getting high for 30 years when during Prohibition was just the tip of the iceberg of what this plant could actually do for my health. And putting it on my skin as a lotion, and ingesting it as a food source, and its seeds as a way to have heart health and all this kind of stuff. Having hemp clothing, having a hemp lifestyle, having a lifestyle that hopefully in the future, being able to build a lifestyle that's self-sustaining will help the planet and me and everybody else around me, instead of this sort of industrial age thinking that we've had for so long. That's obviously, it's run its course. It's great and everything. It's done wonderful things, but at some point, it's like anything else. It starts to become a negative, and I think we need to back it up a little bit. Plant a fucking hell of a lot of marijuana, suck the fucking CO2s out of the air with the marijuana, and then build fucking hempcrete houses and lock that shit away for 1,000,000 years. We'd have a fucking hempcrete fucking statue that would have locked away CO2. So you could be in a hempcrete fucking amusement park and go, and we locked away all the CO2 that was destroying the planet in these buildings. For thousands of years, as long as the park exists, it's a brick, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to do anything for a very long time. Hempcrete could save the planet by planting huge crops of marijuana. We can suck CO2 out of the air and encase it in hempcrete forever and clean. Just like aquaponics. My brother wants to do an aquaponics thing for my mom so she can have tomatoes. And he's been talking aquaponics like crazy. He's kind of driving me nuts with it. But he's building, basically, they like koi ponds. They're into this koi pond thing. And they used to have one, but the raccoons eat the fish. So this is their way of having a koi pond in the house. Okay, so he's building this big tank. He's going to have the koi pond in. And then the plants' roots are going to hang into the water and that's going to clean the water. So the poop is the food, nutrients from my mom's tomato plants and her vegetable garden that she can go to in the garage and work on, you know. And plus, later when marijuana becomes illegal, he can grow marijuana. But really, it's so my mom can continue gardening. Okay, so the nutrients come from the fish poop, and then the plants help clean the water. So just like the plants clean the environment there, the plants can clean the environment here. It's just that marijuana is extremely efficient at it, and probably is the exact machine that we should be using to clean the environment, and is the miracle we've been looking for. But we got this fucking idiot goddamn government with their own selfish fucking bullshit, and they don't care if everybody dies. They just care if that paycheck keeps coming in. You know? No, they are stupid. I mean, stupid. Self-destructively stupid. That's just hemp, too. Ugh. It's interesting to read that this person's, the older person that's like in charge of the, I don't know what this place is called, pubic hair, whatever this store is in in Florida, pubic hair store, Pubex. I don't know why you would name a fucking store pubic hair, but there it is. You know, more genius, more advertising genius there. Anyway, this pubic hair store, I guess the person that's in charge of that, who's a chairperson or whatever they were saying, has Alzheimer's in here. Marijuana helps to fight Alzheimer's and reverse its effects, and helps to calm a person with Alzheimer's down. Even you think Ronald Reagan, who fought the drug war so hard and yet ignored AIDS, and helped to defeat the drug war by ignoring AIDS and allowing AIDS to discover that marijuana is the perfect drug for dealing with AIDS, because both things were shunned by the federal government, and they came together like peanut butter and chocolate. Two great tastes of good, you know. Unbelievable stupidity. Unbelievable stupidity. Unfucking believably short-sighted stupidity. And then here again, man, you know, you got somebody, Alzheimer's. What did Reagan suffer of? Alzheimer's. It's like God is making a fucking joke out of these people's lives. It's like God is punishing them. Look at Southern California. Southern California locked down a lot on medical marijuana. Not that I want to get super religious. And notice that it didn't rain here during El Nino. It rained up north. It rained like cats and dogs. It filled their reservoirs to the top. Fucking Lake Casitas is at 40%. In a year or so, it'll be gone. They're hoping maybe that Santa Barbara's going to get their filters back from Dubai they sold off for their desalination plant, and they'll be able to maybe kick up their water to 20 more % and share a little bit maybe. But everybody here is fucked. Ha ha ha. They kind of deserve it. I mean, not that these two things are related, but right at the time when they decide to be prohibitionist assholes, it's like they're not given the opportunity to actually have any resources or financial opportunity to actually be prohibitionist assholes. Like, things are now only going to get worse for you, but you continue to act obstinately. You know, it's not like it's happening on purpose, but isn't it interesting that it happens at the same time? You know, I think it's interesting. I mean, not that I'm like, God has done this. I'm like, you see how life works? It just fucks with you, whether something's in charge or not. If you start coloring outside the lines, there just seems to be some sort of mechanism to come back and, oh, bip, you didn't see this coming. It cures cancer. Poof. You know, Ronald Reagan, I've got Alzheimer's. It cures Alzheimer's. You know, wish I'd known, you know. It's amazing. It's amazing how the existence that we have, if you're a dipshit, it makes fun of you because your behavior plays into the stupidityness that you look like. The more stupid things you do, the more of a clown you become in the literal sense. Even the federal government, the DEA. That's what the last thing I wanted to touch on. Notice I've almost forgotten the DEA was going to say anything. Notice they haven't said anything about rescheduling because they don't mean anything anymore. They're a clown. It isn't just that they're scared, they're meaningless. Now we're in the Democratic convention, we practically forgot they even exist. Irrelevancy does not even express what they're becoming. It's just all going away from them. I just don't see them existing much longer at all, especially if a Democratic president comes in office. Boy, watch police unions and shit try to fight this. Watch them lose their minds on this one. No wonder the Democrats are trying to make but police are okay. No, I think your day is done. I think your replacements are here. I think it's going to be interesting to see self-driving cars and automated systems probably hit at the same time, say in the next 5 to 10 years. And literally, there are going to be a lot of people going to work. And there are going to be people moving, maybe people, maybe robots, moving their furniture out, going, you don't work here anymore. All your family's out of work. You're going to see a lot of Republicans fucking change their tune when they don't have jobs anymore. You know how I talked about UPS and everything? The mail services? Or Brown or, any of these delivery people? And here come the drones. What even makes you think they're going to have jobs? In the future, it may become very cheap to send things across the country because a drone's going to do it. You think a drone's going to have suspicion? A drone's going to have bias? A drone's not going to care. Whether it's searching your package or not, I don't think it cares to search your package. I think it cares to make money for its boss. Where or for who these packages are coming and going for, if everybody's out of a job, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But change is massively in the air. Like that movie Soylent Green, like that shit. Some weird fucking creepy fucking dystopic shit is coming. And we can handle this and look really good, or we can handle this and go into another creepy fascist World War II type situation. And I think that we're coming to a crossroads where people are going to have to decide. Are you going to let all the rich guys dance off with a bunch of robot pals and let all of humanity die of starvation in the street, killing each other, sending a plague to get rid of them because their services are no longer needed? And that's usually a conservative paranoia. But how can it not be true with automation coming so quickly, including our cars? I mean, there goes all the police officers. What the fuck do you need a police officer for? What do you need a car chase for? My brother just witnessed a man be hit in a car chase on a motorcycle. Do you know what his first thought was? Why the fuck did you chase that guy? Was that worth it? You chased that guy and now a guy on a motorcycle is dead. Couldn't you have just gotten his license plate? Couldn't you have just showed up at his house? Couldn't you have just tracked his phone? You've got all these technologies. What the fuck are you chasing people for? It's like an advertisement for self-driving cars. It's not going to be hard to sell these things. In the minute an American gets in one, he's going to go, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh, I'm going to get on the computer. I don't like not having my freedom. I don't like it. Ooh, hey, look at this. There's a new game out. I think I'll play it. Yeah, dude, I totally played this all the way to work today. Dude, do you think for a second that all that bullshit about I like to drive is going to stick around? Like I used to like to ride a horse, and nobody likes to ride horses anymore. Change? Yeah. Change nickel and dime change? Maybe. If we don't fucking watch it, we could get nickeled and dimed on this change. That's why I got the political bat. It swings both ways. It's not a two-edged sword, it's round. I didn't pick a sword this time, I picked a bat, a bludgeoning weapon. Get the fuck in humanity's way, and I'm going to use it metaphorically, on you politically. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't give a fuck who you are. The minute you start talking about something that looks like it's going to hurt humans, I can accept technology, but there has to be an option for how the fuck is everybody going to live if there's no goddamn jobs. Straight up. That's what that's for. You don't have a good answer for that, you get bludgeoned. If I even sense that you're somewhat against marijuana, you get bludgeoned. Because I just ain't got no time for it. Gay marriage, racism, if you're a homophobic racist, you're going to get bludgeoned. There's no choice now. The future's coming. It's detrimental. We put these old arguments to bed forever. And if that means putting you out good night and shutting you up forever, that's what's going to happen. Because the stuff that's coming is way more worrisome than you. You're a gnat. You're an annoyance. Racism is a fucking annoyance. Why it still exists, I don't even know. At some point, the races are going to have to join together to fight for the right to exist on Earth, because their services will no longer be needed in the future. So you being a racist idiot is not worthwhile even listening to at all. It's like, shut up, bam. Here comes the armies of evil, and you're there. I don't like black people. I don't like Mexicans. Bam! Shut the fuck up. We got bigger trouble. Shut the fuck up. We got bigger trouble. I don't need to hear your mouth right now. Seriously, kill it. Kill it. I like this Viking show, right? Rollo is going after his brother Ragnarok because Rollo's joined the Franks, which is the French, right? Now he's all a French lord and shit instead of being a Viking, guy, right? So he's on this boat and the first wave is hitting the Vikings. The Vikings take him down and one of his guys starts panicking. Your orders, sir! Should we retreat? What are your orders, sir? Fucking Rollo just looks at him and goes, stabs him, tosses him overboard and goes, men, you were born for this moment. That's what fucking Donald Trump and his supporters are to me. It's like, are you talking right now? Bang! Thank you for telling me that you're useless in this battle. I'm glad I could get rid of you right now because I need you to be gone right now. We got business to do. Now let me talk to the rest of these men that aren't fucking pussies. Oh, I like that Viking show. It's good. It's bloody as shit, though. God damn. It makes you want to be a time traveler. You want to go back and go, hey, you guys, just chill out, man. Why all the violence? Peace and love. They'd have me boiling in oil or some shit in a second. Either that or I would go, hey, you think you're a badass? Meet the American Indian. Let's have a contest. His tomahawk he can throw and his bow and arrow versus your axe. Let's see who wins. Oh, fucking you see. There'd be scalp fucking Vikings everywhere. They'd be like an encampment of Vikings listening to wolf howls. Is that them? Or hey, Vikings, yeah, you think you're bad? Meet the Zulus. And they're like, with fucking spears and shit. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. We're gonna beat your ass. Fucking millions. I like Vikings, but let's all keep it in perspective here. They were bad. They weren't the baddest. There were lots of other tribes that were pretty fucking bad. You know, not even like the Scots and stuff. They're descended from the Vikings. I mean, a lot of us are that are white, but which explains a lot of fucking dysfunctional shit. But, you know, think about like some of the tribes in America or down in South America or something like that. You know, hey, you want to see something funny? Introduce the Vikings to the fucking Aztecs. That'd be a good laugh. The Spaniards. That'd be a good laugh. I like that show. Okay. So now I've had my stony blah 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 talk. It's 27:57 now, and I better let you go. So hopefully we'll get more news. I'm just giving up on the DEA. I think that they've proven to me that they know they're in trouble, and they acted like we're going to make a statement, like it was a big deal, like this was going to be something, and they're holding it like a card because they have to. They can't play it yet. It must be that they're having to negotiate for their lives because they see what's on the horizon. So they're like, I promise we'll think about rescheduling. You know, I'm starting to see this whole fucking rescheduling announcement in a different way. They're trying to use it as some kind of a trump card. So that shows that they're totally irrelevant at this point. Whether or not they could federally bust you or anything, the whole thing with the USPS kind of shows you it's such a landslide that they're literally trying to fight off a huge wave of change. And it's impossible. It's like this Pokemon thing, you know, it's infectious. You know, it's like you touch someone and boom, they've got it too. And it's because it's so real. It's so, I mean, even though Pokemon isn't real, but that whole, I want to get outside and meet people. Oh, wow, this game just totally gives me an excuse to still be social on the internet and be social in person, you know, and have this game experience in the outdoors, you know, and bring in virtual reality, which I just see that's going to be. If you meet someone from the future, they probably land, they probably see a whole bunch of fucking shit and readouts and shit and stuff and animation and fucking this human is 6 feet tall. She is 90, you know, she weighs 400, you know. She has a high glucose level. It'd be like, that's probably exactly what the future is, man. And those people are probably way more sensitive and fascinated with us. If I think about it real hard, I'll bet you they would be fascinated with this time period. I would like to think. Maybe that's ego. But I can't see it not coming now. So it's like Pokemon. The marijuana thing is like Pokemon. The minute somebody tries it, they find out it wasn't true, even if they didn't like it, like Bill Clinton, even if they didn't like it. They found out that the prohibitionist line wasn't true. And haven't we found out more and more that the prohibitionist line isn't true? This is literally the moment in most small towns in the olden days when they found out a carpetbagger came in and was selling them fucking snake oil. It's really shoe polish and shit. What do you think happens next to the carpetbagger? What do you think is the next part of that story? That they throw him a party and pat him on the back and say, good job, you fooled us. Ha ha ha. We should have been smarter. No, they fucking burned the guy at the stake. You know, DEA, hello. We just found out you're a carpetbagger. You're selling us fucking poison shoe polish and trying to tell us this is medicine. It's all good. It's not all good. And now you're like, but I promise I'll come up with a better formula. Really? Where is it? And why are you fucking taking so long? Yeah, because I know why. I know why. Because you know. You and I both know. Time to dance. Time to dance. I'm kind of like, now that you've been softened up real good, DEA, and you're not coming out with this rescheduling ruling so fast, it tells me that it's time for me to get real old school with you because you are totally vulnerable. You acting like a pussy, not acting like somebody who's in a position of strength. And that tells me it is batting time. It is clobbering time on your ass. That's what that tells me. Because you are showing massive weakness right now. You won't answer any of the senators' notes or letters about what the fuck is going on with rescheduling, even though it came from Elizabeth Warren and she was one of the people who would have been the choice for vice president and probably will be a presidential candidate someday in the future. See, I feel that I have some political clout here now. I feel that I am accepted by the Democrats and the liberals, and this is a truth now. Sort of like gay marriage. Sort of like how racism is fucked up. And since I have that political clout, I'm going to use it to bang you repeatedly about the head and shoulders until you start to cry. This way I know you are hearing me. Okay? You're going to become a project because you want to play a little game, which has told me that you are vulnerable. Attack. Attack, 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 and never stop attacking. Because we are more than winning. And now is the time to breach their defenses. So you say hi and goodbye. And that's the last thing I wanted to say for today is watch the DEA now. They've taken too long. What's their excuse? They're weak. It's time to batter up on their ass and T-ball them right into the fucking past. I'll see you tomorrow.